And within 2 weeks, we had an offer which was 41.2% higher than any of our neighbors could get. The buyer saw the value, and the buyer was prepared to pay for it. Hello everyone, my name is Thereza. I want to share all the knowledge that I've gained over a 30-plus year career in real estate with anybody who can get value from it. Well, how did our story or my story start? Because every story has a starting point. My husband Jan and I had a dream of owning a house like thousands of couples all over the world. The dream is shared by many. And all of us believe that real estate is a good investment. So it's not only a place where you're going to have security, safety, and your space to raise your family. It will also be a good investment in the long run because you are thinking that in the years to come, at the time that you will have to sell your house, you will walk away with a handsome profit. Because like all the real estate books tell us, you get capital growth over all of these years. Well, Jan and I jumped in. We bought the house and we paid. We paid for everything. The mortgage, insurance, rates and taxes, maintenance. There was a constant stream of expenses. But we did it without minding about it because we were tending to this very big asset on our balance sheet. The years passed. We raised our family. But we were not blind to the currents that were starting to shape the world around us. Everybody is aware of how the situation has changed in the financial scene around us, with lack of service delivery, bad financial situations where people have lack of funds, where it's hard for people to get mortgages. The list goes on. But we were busy like everybody else. You are busy living your life, making money to pay for everything you need to pay for. Then, one day, our children had left home, and we found that we had vacant space available. We first thought of selling, but at the time, the so-called market valuations were not very favorable. All real estate agents, all financial publications stressed the fact that the market is not very good. So we decided to put some of the vacant space we had to work. So what we did was we took 2 of the vacant rooms and we turned it into a space that we listed on the short-term accommodation platforms. We, of course, needed to spend money. There was a financial layout, and that was why we only started with 1 space. We distinguished ourselves, and we soon saw that we were onto a very successful venture. So we converted a 2nd space, and eventually a 3rd one. So 1 became 3. I also need to stress that we adhered to all municipal bylaws and regulations. So whatever we did was within regulations, and we saw to it that we had proper drawn up plans as well as, of course, municipal approval, because you cannot run any business if you don't do stuff the legal way. So after we had run these 3 short-term spaces successfully for about 2 years, we thought that the time had come to put our house to market. After all, it was a different property to the one that we wanted to put to market a few years before. I called in a real estate agent, and I am in the real estate agent space myself. I am a registered real estate agent practitioner. I only did property management though, so I felt it necessary to call in agents that I knew were very reputable to come and look at the house and give us an indication. So we were quite shocked to find that the real estate agent still focused on the market. I don't have a quarrel with real estate agents. I understand that everything hinges on the valuation that banks come up with, because banks need to loan money to potential buyers, and banks will not lend more money than what they deem a property to be worth. And this is hinged on the market. So if the market says your property is only worth a certain amount, you can stand on your head. That is not going to change. And that is why real estate agents focus on valuations. That is how they are trained. That is what they need to do in order to get properties sold. So this is, of course, to the benefit of the banks, because they control the money. So the seller who sits in a position where he or she has been paying for years and years and years, if the market says, no, your house is not worth a lot of money, there is not much that you can do about it. So we found ourselves in that boat once again. The market valuation just came up to a price that we were not happy with. That did not even keep track with inflation. So we would have to sell for much less than we were going to have to buy elsewhere for. So this affected our retirement plans, because there was going to be a financial knock that we would have to absorb, and we were just not prepared to accept that. In the meantime, the income that our house has been generating for us is still very good. It is very lucrative. But the banks still come up with the valuation of the property. So they don't take into account the income that your property really generates. But definitely, one should proceed to make your property earn income for you, no matter what stage of your property journey you are at. Had we known it much sooner, we would have done it much sooner. Because if your property generates income and helps you pay for some of the many expenses, then in the end, you will have spent less on your property. And then when you have to sell it, you won't feel that financial knock so badly. Also, we all need to take into consideration that the market has changed. Credit is much harder to come by. Younger people buy their first properties much later in life than they did when we used to be young. Younger people, I think, they're not often ready for such a long-term commitment as a property often is. So when we decided to sell, we were basically left with two options. Stay where we are. In other words, we would be stuck in our house forever and a day, or until the market recovered, or we would have to absorb the financial knock. And that financial knock story was just not acceptable to us. So we decided to not put our house on the market. We took back a step or two. We thought it through for a few weeks, and then we decided we would have to market our property ourselves, because all we needed to do was to make buyers look at our house differently. We proceeded with that, and we put our house to market, but in a different way. And within 2 weeks, we had an offer which was 41.2% higher than any of our neighbors could get. The buyer saw the value, and the buyer was prepared to pay for it. The buyer wasn't going to look at the so-called market valuation. So we were very excited about that. We were so happy that our efforts had come to something. It was then that Jan and I had an epiphany. We thought that if we could share our knowledge with others, they could benefit from it as well. Because there is so much of people's money locked up in property, and the market is causing great damage to many people and their balance sheets. And that was when we came up with the idea to develop an online course which we call the My House Works 3-step system. We use this system to show people how you can do what we did, what you can do in your specific circumstances to make your house work for you. And once you can show that you have a property that delivers good income, you can also sell your house for more, because you can also show people that your house has a different value. And that is how the story of Jan and I and our My House Works 3-step system started. Thanks for listening.